Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization, and on today's episode of BS, I'd say the whole thing, but YouTube doesn't like me swearing in the beginning of the algorithm, high protein diets are bad for your health. Don't eat them. You'll have bad health if you do. A lot of times this is just said really straightforwardly. You maybe tell your parents or your parents' friend or your Aunt Susie, well, I'm eating a lot of protein because I want to build muscle and so I can have more friends. And she will say, well, I think that's bad for you. Isn't high protein bad for you? And it's something that a lot of moms especially are really concerned when their teen sons start to pick up the old creatine and protein and weights and try to get buff in high school. Maybe some kind of old school doctors in their corner from 1955 when he got his medical education. They say protein. Extra protein is bad for you. You don't want to eat it. Let's find out if this is true. In order to find out if this is true, we have to go to the claims and get one layer deeper to ask just one question, why or how? How is excess protein bad for you? How are high protein diets bad for you? A lot of times the answer involves the kidneys, and it's usually just a one-word answer like kidneys. Yes, the kidneys do exist. Go on. You'll almost never hear them go on after because most people who say protein is bad for health just don't know anything after that. They might be able to, chat GPT style make up an answer like, well, the kidneys process protein and you can overwhelm them, yes, with too much protein. That's a fine claim to stick in the ground and see if it stands up. Another candidate organ is just not that many organs in the body. I don't know that many, so we'll say liver. That's one you hear a lot. Well, what? The liver. It's bad for the liver. And then you get the identical answer if you ask any further. Well, see, the liver processes, not sure how, protein, and you can overwhelm the liver with too much protein. And then the liver's like, what are you doing to me? You're killing me. I'm Jersey liver. Hold on. The proteins are in me. I'm dying. That's exactly how livers sound, by the way. Another thing you might hear from the more astute podcast listeners of all stripes is mTOR and protein activates that. Longevity may be a problem. They may actually be onto some tiny little bit of truth. We'll get to that in a second. And of course, the last one as well, my nurse practitioner, or my doctor told me. And while you should listen to medical staff, getting a second opinion and a bit of skepticism is probably good for almost everyone. So, what is the reality? First, straight up, if you have healthy kidneys, which you would know by just going to the doctor once a year, getting a regular checkup, getting normal blood work that the doctor should order for you in a checkup, and the doctor's like, everything looks good, you can assume your kidneys are totally fine, there is actually no realistic amount of protein that you could eat that is unhealthy. You could make almost your entire diet protein for weeks on end. And yes, they have tried that in the laboratory. And it doesn't strain the kidneys. They're really great at doing their job. And there's two of them, so they're super powerful. Now, if you have kidney disease or dysfunction of any kind, talk to your doctor about how much protein you should be eating. The good news is they probably already talked to you, and then you're a special case, and this video does not apply to you. But almost everyone, 99.9% of people, have perfectly normal kidneys, and they can eat as much protein as they want. Does that mean you have to eat a ton of protein? No. Does that mean it won't make your farts and poops make friends, and partners, and species leave you? Well, yeah, no, they'll leave the shit out of you. You'll be awful, but it's not going to hurt your health. This is confirmed in study after study. It is essentially bedrock foundational medical knowledge at this point. And your doctor that thinks otherwise is just out of date. There's just no other way to say that. Your body is super resilient and can be healthy with really different intakes of various macronutrients, including protein. So it's nothing to worry about. What about the liver? That's just make-believe nonsense. Somebody just made that up. The way to overwhelm your liver by eating too much protein is not even biochemically obvious to me at all. I don't know. Maybe you guys have some suggestions in the comments as to how that could happen. I'll preempt you with saying that the direct studies show it doesn't happen. So enjoy hypothesizing to nowhere. What about longevity? It is probably true that a diet slightly lower in protein than what would make you maximally jacked does increase by some small margin long-term lifespan of any individual, right? Marginal benefits for marginal trade-offs, right? But is that worth it to you? Maybe. If you're in your 60s and 70s and you really want to optimize for longevity, I wouldn't get super jacked. I would be lean and fit and healthy and active, but eat on the normal amount of protein that a human being is supposed to eat, maybe just a little bit more than that to get a little bit extra jacked, nothing like a gram per pound, maybe 0.6 or 0.7 grams per pound per day. And if you want to know about kilos, just type that into a calculator, damn it. I don't want to be too mean to our European friends, Asian friends, and African friends, and I guess America is the only place that uses pounds. Canadian friends, Mexican friends. I digress. Lastly, if we have accounted for all those things, the vast majority of people that hate on protein and say too much protein is bad for you are doing one of two things. One is making something up, or two is just repeating something somebody else made up. And they're probably not training with weights, and they're small. They're just not jacked. How do you go through your life being not jacked? The answer is perfectly normally, but also go eat your protein, get jacked and enjoy. And you're paying at some level a tiny longevity cost perhaps. And that's all trade-offs based on you saying that too much protein is just straight up bad for your health is bullshit. And if you like the opposite of bullshit, consider joining our member section of the channel. Yes, it pays us more money so that I get to crash test a Lamborghini every week. It's a passion of mine. In addition to that, we have a Team Full ROM forum where you can ask me questions directly. I'll often reply with pictures of my genitals, but you're getting value one way or another. That's all in the description below. Like, favorite. We put out like 5 videos a week, so good luck turning on the notification bell if you like to be bothered. If not, just scroll through. We'll be in your feed. Hopefully not with pictures of our genitals, but maybe. See you next time.